Is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders and closet swing traders. Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. We got you guys piling in. Good morning, Chuck. We got Agnes. Good morning, Al. Good morning, Bill, Brian, David, D. Fayaz is with us. Good morning, Greg, GW, Jay, Lawrence in the house, Liza joining us. We got Marissa. Good morning. Nancy, good morning. Remco, I'm not sure we talked before, Remco. Good morning to you. Let me know if you're new here. Rock, good morning. Ron, good morning. Shane, in the house as always. What is up, Shane? Tana, good morning. Win, and yes, sir. All my peeps in YouTube land. Remco says yes, we have, buddy. Is this a new name? Is this a new Zoom name for you? Is it a new identity? No, the same one. Okay. Well, welcome back. Sorry, I got some bad memory. What you gonna do? All right, let me see if I could get some trading view up on the screen. My apologies, Remco, because I forget. I forget sometimes. All right, we got the trading view. Perfect. Let me just minimize this other screen. I'm back to working on the two screens, so just bear with me today again as we try to sort out this. All right, beautiful. Let's start with the SPY. Let's see what we're doing. Obviously, we do have Disney on the list, and as we go through things, let me know what else you guys want to look at. Otherwise, we have a little bit of a gap up on the SPY. We're looking at 414.46, bouncing around to 414.47. That looks pretty delightful. Obviously, we are still inside this one big candle still, so really not much panic either way. But yesterday was a smaller, just little pullback inside day. I think all of the trades from real life trading, and I was again not fully paying attention, but I took a look later. It looked like Johnny had similar trades to me, where we just pulled out small wins on each trade and just did what we could. And I think it stacked up, which is all you could do on some kind of inside day. I mean, not much more you could ask for. So in those terms, yeah, we hung in there. We did the best we could. It was a battle day for sure. Today, I would say still a little bit to the battle side. So we're still at the very, very end of, or the high of yesterday's candle. But we are gapping and going through most of yesterday's activity. So I think the bullish edge is still in play for a lot of things. I don't know if it's going to be as easy as people might look and think on this chart, just because we're still inside of this overall bigger trend candle. So at open, I mean, sentiment has to be bullish, right? I think you have to stay bullish still. I don't think there's a reason to flip it. It does look like a good gap and go. Just targets might be a little bit of an issue. And then we got the Qs, looks very, very similar. So still inside of that candle from 2 days ago. I forget what day today is. So today's Thursday. So Wednesday. So this is Tuesday's candle. So gap and go above yesterday, but still inside from both days really, but just kind of hanging out in the zone still. So maybe a little bit more chop. Disney, you fired. Laid off 7,000 people yesterday. Just crazy. 7,000 people. But they also had beat earnings and earnings per share as well. So earnings actually weren't terrible. And then they did lay off a whole bunch of people for sure. Ron says, how's the Florida weather? Beautiful, but the problem is I'm pretty Irish, so I don't really tan. I'm gonna eventually I tan, but I'm going through the burn process right now. So as soon as the even like if you open a blind inside of my house, just instant sunburn. So besides that though, everything else is pretty decent, pretty good. Way better than the sorry Jess if you're here, but way better than the Philly weather right now for sure. All right, we got Disney. Just watch out for the targets on this one. This is up pretty big. But targets would be about 120.06. Again, at least on the short-term basis, layoffs are good for stock. So you're getting that follow through. And then actually earnings were not bad too. So a decent reason to remain bullish if you're in it. This is a gap and go. Just more concerned about the targets more than anything on this one, but we'll see how this one wants to play out. Microsoft again looks. I think we get some more bullish momentum on this thing. We rejected already a decent point, 276.44. That's why I kind of have it high on the list. It's a decent gap. We do have a lot of continuation, but that was a gap up. That was just a whole big retest yesterday. And now I think we can start to get that momentum. I would love to see some kind of a drop. So maybe the whole market shakes around a little bit. We pull back to 269.17. And I think that would be my spot. I wouldn't mind actually maybe a little bit higher. About 269.98. If we can get somewhere in that zone, that's what I'll look for. But this is all just still continuation pattern, right? So we gapped up, we retest. A lot of people might tune out the next day after some kind of decent gap. But if we don't, that's decent. We've already hit that. That puts next targets really up to about this 286.15 zone. Not today, probably, but over the next little bit of a period. If I was in on that for a swing trade, potentially. Ron says, "Respect our son." Oh yeah, no, it's got a perfect record. I've never beat this on, not once. Let's see, Tesla. You guys were looking at. Yep, Tesla had a nice little gap up as well. So again, this one's a little bit different. This one would be a retest gap, as we saw that Tesla was strong. I would actually be looking for the fade today. So see if we get this fade back to this roughly 271 zone. I think with this gap up, we are officially over 100% for the year on Tesla. When was this? This is like 102-ish. I think it was even lower than that, but 102. This is January. Yep. So anybody that bought the absolute lows is up officially 100% on Tesla for the year, which is pretty wild. Maybe somebody might want to take that profit. I don't know. You do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in a row that are all green, zero pullback. Story of 2023 into a good resistance. So yeah, if you're looking to buy, I mean, the first spot I'd be looking for is 201.43, but you didn't buy down here anywhere. You might be a little late. To the higher side, I'd be watching out for this. I think we could get, in a longer term sense, I think we get back to this 223. Again, I don't think today, but 223 would be on the agenda for it if we do get something crazy. But give me some kind of pullback first on Tesla before we go long. It's an intriguing gap. I think it's one that we could execute patience on and go from there, but very interesting. I heard Disney hired DJ for the firing party. It was a lot of fun. I mean, there were some laughs, there were some tears. The laughs were really from the stockholders, and the tears were from the people getting fired. But it was a crazy party. Yeah, the crazy layoff party from Disney. I mean, they even got like the big lollipops, so like swirly, and then they have like Mickey Mouse faces on them for half price. Half price. It wasn't free. They're not gonna do that, but for half price. So only $17 per person could get one of those. It's pretty nice of them. Pretty nice. All right, we got Hood with a little gap up. Yep. So Hood reported earnings. I think they missed on everything, if I'm not mistaken. I thought they missed on everything, but they have like $6 billion in cash laying around. Let me see if they missed. Yeah, they missed on revenue, missed on earnings per share, but they do have a big cash balance. And the CEO Vlad, I believe, has been selling out of Hood. So if you don't believe the captain should go down with the ship, you should probably be selling as well. But decent gap, still into a little resistance for today. This is a gap and go, so probably look to go long. Targets on this one, though, is what's going to give me a little issue. That's going to take me to about 11.26. The only thing that saves this stock right now. So again, it's not, you don't really want to see it. It doesn't make sense that a company would miss revenue, miss earnings per share, and then go up higher. But if you're in a bull market, tons of sense. Makes tons of sense. So this is probably look to fade this gap, even though it is a gap and go. I think we've hit the resistance, the range for the day, and we look to kind of pull back at least if this thing starts to break out and does something that I don't expect. Looking for $11.25. So we have to get past that. So 11, let's call it $11.27. Then we have some room, right? If we can clear that, then we get some room up to about 1201. We'd be looking maybe also for like 1220, and then the final stop somewhere around 1247. But I don't know if this one's going to continue to run higher. I don't know. I mean, the market does some crazy stuff. You guys are looking at AI. AI. Still kind of just a little congested. So we had that little bit of a reversal candle on the daily. Nice little gap up for sure. Kind of at the high end of yesterday's range. Every time we've gotten up to the zone, you can see these wicks come in. So I would be a little careful on this one. I mean, we've had an absolutely massive move, even bigger than Tesla's, even bigger than Tesla. But yeah, we're high up there. Honestly, could this thing keep going? Yes, obviously, if we get a bullish story and the fact that it has the name AI, this thing could. But I would have to see some kind of pullback first. We're still, this dotted line is the highest volume. So let me just see what the hourly looks like. I mean, it's smaller time frame on this thing. We're like right at it now. This almost looks like head and shoulders on an hourly, but I mean, even that's not perfect. And if we do start breaking this 27 26 zone, it's potential we could run higher. We have, it looks like we did retest kind of that before. I don't know. I just don't know how much it's a storied play, right? So we're moving because it's AI. And why wouldn't people own AI? When the robots come over and take over the world, you're glad that you have some AI. So, but yeah, it's run a lot. Question is, can we get through this current resistance? Netflix. Looks like 372.61, pretty decent gap. Pre-market. What was the high we got to in the recent? This is 379. Was the highs. This is also a retest gap. You are into maybe a little resistance. Yeah, that was already a retest before, so I wouldn't think that one would count as much. What do we get to in this one? 385. So 385 would be my target. This is a lot of resistance that we're kind of opening into. And we did fade off there once. I think fading this one to the lower side, going short, would be where my head would be at for this one, especially we had a lot of moves. This looks like to me, I don't know if I'd want to go long here unless we get some closes above almost this 379. So let's call it 380. But for today, inside that candle, that's where a lot of sellers came before. I don't see why they wouldn't, especially at that resistance. And I probably look to fade this thing out of the gate for try to get as close as you can to about 368, maybe slightly lower. Baba. Well, I'm also biased on that one win because I definitely have some shares, and I'm like, no, yeah, I want that one to go higher, but it's up a lot. It could pull back. We just have that little tiny resistance. Baba. The Bobskis. We've been hanging around that 50% retrace for a minute now. So I already have the fibs on the chart. We got almost down to the penny. This is a decent little gap up as well. Again, into a minute little resistance. And we also have so this would be a gap and go. We have a VPOC that's sitting somewhere around 109.23. We also have that 10 EMA coming into it. So now we have two things of resistance where this one could be one of those that should gap and go, right? You would expect this thing to run up higher. Not a huge amount of volume on yesterday's candle, but this is two now in a row, little high wave. So between the 2 days, yeah, there is a lot of volume. Most of them were probably short just by the fact that this thing was red, but I'd give this one, I'm going to put this one decent on the list. We might be able to make a trade on this one. If this thing breaks out and does not pull back, I would have no issue going long on Baba. If we don't really see it pushing in the bullish direction, I'd probably just let it go. Right. So what I mean by that is this is one that is supposed to go higher, right? You would think this is a nice gap, but with all that little bit of resistance coming in, if it does start to look like it's breaking out and we could take maybe a break of a red candle or something like that, fantastic. I'm with it. I'll take it. If it doesn't do that, I'll probably just sideline it and just watch what happens. See if we get back for full retest, maybe even closer to this 105.42, something like that. But it looks interesting. Hector says app is back. Is that apps or just APP? If it's Apollovian, I don't know. Oh my goodness, look at that gap though. That was one of the ones I had to actually move that sidebar to see. Pretty massive gap. Smaller resistance. Man, this thing's got some room to run. I don't think I've ever traded this one. This is one that you've traded before, Hector. Where's the high of this thing? Ooh. 115. Well, you could definitely buy it for less than you could have then. So that's still nice. But yeah, it's a good gap. Probably expect maybe a little profit taking. We went down to under $10. So back to the warrant prices on this thing. Oh man. They are setting up for that next rug pull. Everyone's gonna feel so good and just some poopy tickers. And then they go, gotcha. No, it wasn't. I don't think it was App. I don't think he was trading that. Oh, App Lovin, he was trading that one. Yeah. He was trading that one because he was also trading apps too, I think. Which I think he had it early. I think it was like $2 and he just let it ride and it was up to crazy. But yeah, apps. I know apps we were trading a lot, but yeah, App Lovin was definitely one of his too. This one he's still probably positive on this one, like massive. He got in at like $2. I don't know if he did cover calls or whatever, but sold out at somewhere else. But I believe, as far as I remember, he still had it. He took from $12. No, Jay, I think it was before that. He was in there like massively early. Like he's been in this thing for years, so it's not I don't even think it's any concern. He was in this thing since like unless he did sell eventually at some higher price and got back in 12. But as far as I remember, it was like $2-3 somewhere back here. It's one of those runners. The pre-IPO, he was a CEO. He got shares when the company was formed. That's how early. All right, let's see. We'll run down the list. Let's see what else we got. DraftKings. That's going to be you with DraftKings. We might have had to try to get earlier to really get that. For us on this one, DraftKings has to hit maybe $1,000. If we can hit $1,000, we'd be in the same boat then. All right. So DraftKings. I do have a cover call on DraftKings. I mean, thank goodness it's not a lot, but strike price is 18 that expires this Friday, Rock. So I'm like, don't take me. My thought was like, if they usually sell off by Super Bowl, and again, whether it pulls back next week, I'll buy it back for whatever. But my thought was like, okay, if they're gonna run up, into Super Bowl. Maybe like they sell off Friday before, so we'll see where Super Bowl. We'll see where DraftKings wants to close. But I have $18 that expires this week, and then I'm going to be looking to buy back anywhere under $18. But we do have a nice solid double bottom on this thing. Pretty good support. We do know that the SPAC level is $10. I think we hit maybe just below it, $9.99. So that SPAC level still holding on this thing. And yeah, I still like it for the longer term as well. I'll rock with you. Rock says I have cover calls for $100. You made like a penny per contract sale. That's still a good penny though. I mean, if you get called away there, I think you'd be pretty happy. All right, is Peloton, since Hood's moving, I'm just seeing if Peloton's moving, since App 11's moving, maybe we get some of these garbage companies. No, Peloton, nothing crazy. PLTR. Carnival Cruise. Nope. For solar. Yeah, it costs Rock $15 to sell the cover call. The cover calls at 100. Fastly might be interesting. I mean, the only thing I don't like is, I mean, first stop is going to be probably 1140. I don't know what happens. Not a huge range on that one. Overstock. Man, we covered most of the list. Anything else that you guys want? We still got 8 more minutes to take a look at whatever. But pre-market, Overstock, yeah, Snowflake. Snowflake actually looks decent. So that's a nice gap and go. Good little hammer bouncing off of the only thing is this is inside day, but the next target for me would be all the way back to 170. Let's push Snowflake a little higher. Somehow. Let's push this one. And I want to get Netflix up there too, a little bit higher on the list as well. Since we did look at that one. Netflix. Netflix pretty high on the list. Oh yeah, Wynn reported too. Wynn, I believe, missed by like $1.36 or something like that, and they seem to be running pre-market. So be careful on this one. This one should again be a fade, but it is doing. Any news is good news at this point in the market. See if you get a pullback. I mean, honestly, the better pullback spot would be 104.21. I could see us coming down to maybe 107.31. So something not even crazy, but that looks decent. We're gonna keep it on the list too, pretty high up. Yeah, good reminding on this one. That was a earnings miss that we're gapping up on, and it should technically be a retest gap. The question is, how much are we going to retest? I do expect if this thing runs bullish right out of the gate, it goes without me. And it has a lot of room if it does it, right? So don't get me wrong. The next spot for me on some kind of VPOC is 112.10. 112.10, and then we got, I don't know, next spot all the way back to 122, 123. That would be massive. Don't think it happens today. So I'd be expecting some kind of a fade. It does have not a lot in the way for this to keep on pushing higher. But for me, I can't take this one. It has to fade back, and if it does fade, it gives us a setup. I might even get the opportunity to short something like this. We'll see. Did I look at Spotify? Did not. Man, these guys are at the edge. Look at that. If this thing breaks this 120, really where it's at now. This thing breaks 125.60 in a slightly longer term. We're looking at 137. All right, and we got a lot more room to go. That's why this market, I mean, as much as it feels just horrible after like things are gone up 100%, unless you're app loving, and 250%. But it feels horrible to go long, but that's the trend. You got to stick with it. There's a lot of room on a lot of these things. Yeah, spot's going to go pretty high on the list. It's up massive. I mean, look how many candles in a row. That's green. It is a nice gap though, and there's not a lot of room above it, right? To really block it and push it back down. I got nothing. Even on an intraday basis, this is still 132. It's actually gonna be pretty high on the list. We'll see. I would love some kind of pullback. Doesn't mean it's gotta happen though. Cyber. Yeah, Tony, we did look at Baba. So Baba has room to run. It is going to be high on the list as well. It's something where it's a gap and go, and I feel like it should. I think because there's some resistance on Baba, it might fade back. So I'm going to watch it to see if it doesn't do that. Then I'm going to go long. All right, we got CyberArk. Yeah, it's up a lot. This one's going to hit some kind of resistance. So we have a bunch of different peaks up here, a lot of resistance. Again, it is a pretty sweet gap and go. I wish this one was either gapping a lot tighter or a lot wider. So kind of in the middle where I need this thing to go. To the higher side, though, if you get extremely bullish on this thing, you're looking at 162.35. That might be in play for today. We'll see. This is an earnings play. We might have the room to run up, but could get a little choppy at open. Just I could see both ends of this thing being, hey, yeah, we're great, we look good on earnings, and then other people are like, well, no, we're in profits. So I can see both ends of this thing. Shopify. Now we got 3 minutes left. Shop, yeah, bullish seems to be the direction still. Nice little touch into. Oh yeah, this is shop, right? Let me add shop to the list. I don't think I have that one here. Looks to me like the trend is going to remain bullish. Even on a wave count basis, we probably could at least come in for a double top, which is somewhere above the, it's probably what, 54. I feel like this market, we got to flip everything to a 1 minute chart and just take breakouts for no reasons. Just buy everything. Otherwise, I feel like I'm going to miss it. But Shopify is high on the list. That's decent. So it should, again, be a little bit of a gap and go. We do have a little bit of maybe resistance above us, but we also got that 10, right? So there's that retest. We closed the gap from prior, which had a nice gap up. And this could be the start of another push higher. So I don't hate it. I hate getting in so high, but apps has gap down. I thought we just looked at apps, didn't we? I know we looked at app loving. Did the earnings like just come out after we looked at it? I don't remember seeing that gap down. All right, we'll throw apps higher on the list. They should have hired the PR people from Win. Win was able to miss. They go up. It's all about advertising. It's all about the advertisement. These guys hired the wrong PR firm. All right. Unfortunately, we only got about 26 seconds left. So all my friends out in YouTube land, I do appreciate you guys joining us each and every day. Make sure, I believe we got Stephen King in the house tomorrow, rocking the morning room with you guys. So make sure you guys tune back in for that. Keep in mind, we do have all the education free online, beginner, intermediate, and advanced courses on reallifetrading.com. You guys are more than welcome to stop by. It's freemium. It's 100% off. Use discount code. And we will see you guys later.